Did you know that 45,000 flights and 2.9 million passengers are flying every day across more than 29 million square miles of airspace? According to the website Air Traffic by the Numbers, a Federal Aviation Administration, flight has changed the way we travel, get goods, fight wars, and explore space. I rode in my first airplane when I was only 3 years old. My grandpa, who has his private pilot's license, is an aviation addict, and it seems he may have passed his interest in planes down to me. We have made several flights together and attended several air shows, both locally and the largest air show in the United States, located in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Today, I want to travel through time with you as we look at how aviation first got its wings to the future of flight. We'll look at the Wright brothers' first flight, the jet age, and the future of aviation. First, let's look at where it began. For most of us, flying seems to have been around forever. However, it has only been in the works for the past 120 years. Many inventors tried to capture the title of pioneering the first flight. That title belonged to the brothers, Orville and Wilbur Wright. In 1902, Orville and Wilbur attempted their first flight. Like most inventions, theirs was not successful. It failed and crashed the first time. After making some subtle changes, and including a motor with a small wooden propeller, the Wright brothers successfully flew roughly 170 feet before coming to a slightly bumpy landing. This gave them the title of the first flight in 1903. Later, in 1908, they flew the first time publicly in front of a crowd at Fort Myer Air Force Base. The control system they developed has been used in every man-made flying machine since 1902, states Kansas Cyber in her article titled The Right Stuff. The military saw how they could capitalize on the invention of the flying machine, and in the way battles would be fought forever changed. During World War I, France introduced the SPAD S-7, which was the first weaponized aircraft. It was made with a V8 truck engine. Igor Sikorsky from Russia developed the first 4-engine bomber. In 1914, it saw much action during World War I. The Germans first created the Zeppelin airship. This airship was capable of dropping bombs and raining fire onto the battlefield. Its slow speed made it quite useless, but its behemoth size had a psychological effect on its opponents. Now let's soar into the jet age, where we saw many changes. The jet age is characterized by the change in air travel and the fastest shipping and transportation of goods. It is the period where we saw the first invention of the jet. The first jet came in World War II. It was named the Messerschmitt 262, and it was manufactured by the Germans. The first jet bomber was the Aero AR-234, built in 1943, also manufactured by the Germans. This era is when the first commercial and civilian planes arrived on the scene. The de Havilland Comet was the first commercial jet to carry passengers. People no longer relied on automobiles, trains, or ships to carry them thousands of miles. People could now explore the world around them in a much faster pace, as long as they had the money to afford one of these first flights. One of the first jets to be privately owned was the Monroe Solar MS-760 Paris, and it was a 2-seater, small civilian jet. The largest passenger airline to date is the A380, having a maximum passenger load of 853 people, and its 4 Rolls-Royce 900 engines put out over 300,000 pounds of thrust. Planes continue to shake the world in the jet age with the supersonic and spy planes. The first supersonic plane to break the sound barrier was the Bell Boeing X-1, developed by Bell in 1946, and it literally shook the world. During the Cold War, it was necessary to get pictures of what the Soviets were up to and spy on their nuclear program to protect the United States. So the U-2 was developed as a high-altitude picture-taking reconnaissance plane. The U.S. developed the fastest spy and highest flying plane to carry out its reconnaissance. It's capable of going Mach 3, which is 2,400 miles per hour, and its operators have to wear a special pressurized airsuit, and likes of that of an astronaut. Lately, we will look at the future of flight. The future of flight has endless possibilities. NASA, which was started in 1958, is the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. The first space flight was in 1961 by the Russians. However, the US made it to the moon first in 1964. It was a manned spacecraft and was named the Saturn V, which was 364 feet tall. Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, has made the Falcon 9 more recently, which is a rocket capable of landing itself and is reusable and much cheaper, and is one of the leading pioneers of space travel. Just this summer, he launched the Falcon 9, and it docked with the International Space Station. Drones, most of us have seen, heard of, or may even own one yourself. The first and largest drone to see action was the Predator drone, which can fire Hellfire missiles or any other ordnance. These were brought up in 1994 and have been used ever since. The largest U.S. military drone is the RQ-4 Global Hawk, and it will take the place of the Predator with its superior technological advancements. When we hear someone mention flying cars, we probably think they're crazy, but they are already in the works. The Aeromobile is one of the leading competitors in the race to make flying cars, and their most recent 5.0 version is a helicopter variant instead of that of a plane. In 1934, the first flying car was technically produced by Walter Waterman and was a very tiny flying wing design. In the future, I wouldn't be surprised to see these flying cars in operation. As you can see, much has happened in the world of aviation in only a short period of time. Flight only began in 1902 with the Wright brothers, and then we progressed into the jet age, and then to the rocket as tall as an 11-story building in only 60-something odd years. We aren't done yet. We are still seeing new inventions in future flight and space travel. With so many people feeling the need for speed, it's no wonder flight has flown through so many changes so rapidly.